I need the thing with that. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. All righty, we're going live. Recording is started officially as of now. And we are officially live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Kareem Talks. I am your host, Kareem. It is Sunday. Eid Mubarak to all of my Muslims watching this. I expect you all to return. Eid Kareem, you know, my name's Kareem and all that. But we are not here for that. As everyone is celebrating their Eid, I'm with my family right now. But I had a show to do. And when I tell you this particular episode, you do not want to miss. I am telling you, this is an episode you don't want to miss. Our topic for today focuses around the question that people have been asking since 2020. Where is Farrakhan? And to answer that question succinctly, to the best of his ability, my guest is none other than our leader, teacher, and guide, his right-hand tweeter. You all give it up for, and his name is no longer Brother Jesse. We left Brother Jesse back in Mecca. He's somewhere in the sands. We are looking at Brother Abdul Qiyam Muhammad. Welcome to the show.
Yes,
Welcome.
sir. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, and Eid Kareem to you and your blessed family. And I want to thank you, my brother, for this blessed opportunity to be on your show. And I get to talk to Brother Kareem for the first time online like this. Me and him have talked for many years in the past.
Yes, sir.
But I'm looking forward to this discussion, my brother.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Now, because you all know who I am, we've gotten the introductions out of the way. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Everyone, since the minister dropped the criterion, and so much has happened since he dropped that, and even before. We all remember the year that was 2020. We all remember.
Yes.
And 2021 is not shaping up to be a better year, especially with things going on overseas. We're not going to get too much into that, but everyone's asking throughout all the chaos and madness, everyone is asking, where is Farrakhan? Where is Farrakhan? Where is he? Right?
Yes, sir.
Brother Jesse, starting off with that question, how would you respond, in the best of manners, of course, to that question of everyone asking, where is Farrakhan? How would you respond to that?
Well, you know, I have minimally. You know, for me, when you ask such a question, are you asking where is he physically right now? Are you looking for him to be in the streets leading a protest at 88 years of age? Are you looking for him at a press conference or run to and fro to everything that happens after he's been working for over 66 years? Is that what you're asking? Or should you, no matter if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, activist, agnostic, Pan-Africanist, whatever it is, if you're asking such a question, then you need to go to your Bible to get the answer. Because Jesus stated this, and I quote, I go away so I can prepare a place for you so that where I am, you may be also. So the only time you should ask the question, where is Minister Farrakhan, is you're asking what spiritual plane of existence he's on in this present state of mind. And that's the only question you should ask. When you look at that man, and all of us just saw him speak during the memorial service of our brother Earl Simmons, AKA DMX, and people were marveling at, number one, how the minister looks, how he sounded, how God gave him everything that the entire world and the family needed in that moment. So the question was asked is, who is feeding this man? Why does he always seem to know the right words to say at the right time to feed us all. So the question is, what state and connection, a level of godness is the minister on? What level of godliness is he? And what spiritual plane of existence is he on that he has prepared a place for all of us, being an example that we can be on that level? So, Brother Kareem, when I engage people like that, I immediately want to take them up a notch. Because only the ignorant will really ask some foolish question, where is Farrakhan? Man, let me tell you something. Every time you watching somebody do anything of consequence to help our people, you best believe they got some Farrakhan DNA in them.
Facts.
The minister has taught 6 decades. So I don't care if they led a march on Washington or if they led a march all the way in Africa. Somewhere down the lines, you have heard Elijah and Farrakhan has touched these people. So please don't come to us asking, where's Farrakhan? In fact, when you tune into Kareem Talks, you are seeing where Farrakhan is. When you see the MGT marveling and displaying high civilization on your Instagram feed, that's where Farrakhan is. When you get a word from these brothers on YouTube, the FOI in the streets, the student ministers who are doing the works, you are getting and finding out where Farrakhan is. So Jesus said again, I go away that I can prepare a place for you. So where I am, you may be also. So the state and connection that the minister has to God, that's where we all should want to be.
Praise be to Allah. Well, that's the show, everybody.
Oh
my goodness. Praise be to Allah. Well, for those of you all asking the question, you got your answer. All right. Praise be to Allah. Moving on from that, you have been in the nation for how long now?
I've been blessed. I first heard our beloved minister through an audio cassette tape. Now, don't talk about me now. An audio cassette.
The ones with the little pen?
Right. Back? The pencil. Now, look, anybody that knows it from them days, if your tape get caught up in that radio and you pull it out and you break it, you get a nice strip of tape and put it back together. Because we didn't play with the minister's lectures because we only got them once every 2 weeks. So if you had an audio cassette tape of the minister's recent lecture, man, that was better than having a slice of bean pie back then, right? Woo. So my beloved brother Eric Muhammad, we was on our way to the gym. I wanted to be in the NBA. I'm playing basketball, and he played this man while we were on the way to the gym. And this man, voice, I had never heard a black man talking that strong. And this is in 1993. I had just left 8th grade going into the 9th grade. And that was the first time I heard the minister's voice in 1993. I wanted to join immediately, but my mother didn't allow me at that time. But at the same time, she told me I could join as soon as I graduated from high school. And let me tell you something, bro, Kareem. I graduated on May 21st, 1997. That's right. And on May 23rd, 1997, that Sunday, I joined.
He said he bout it. He said exactly. He gonna get it done.
I've been striving to be a student of this man. I know Rick Ross said he's been a student since 03. I've been a student since 93 and been a student and a registered student under the Mr. Louis Farrakhan since 1997.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was born in 93. 93 was a good year, folks. 93 was a good year. Praise be to Allah. Moving on from that, in your tenure, I'll never forget the first time you came to Florida. This is when we had the Teachings 2.0 Volume 1. And you spoke on the witness stand. Could you tell our audience what it means to be on the witness stand? What does that mean? Especially when you're writing for someone as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
You know, when we look in the Holy Quran, as we've just been blessed to read all 30 parts of this blessed Ramadan season, Jesus asked a question twice. Who are my helpers in the cause of Allah? And then he asked, who will be? So he's addressing those presently who are claiming to be his followers, and in future tense, who will be. my helpers.
Mm.
So then he asked this question after he perceived disbelief on the part of the disciples. So then in the Bible, you go over that, those who are in the Christian faith and students, Jesus found the disciples asleep, Brother Kareem, on 3 occasions. And he asked the question, could you not stay awake with me just for 1 hour? Then when he goes through his crucifixion, he's at the cross. All of these false charges are hurled against him. And the man that he healed, the woman that he healed, the one that he raised from the grave, the one that he saved from drug dealing, from smoking, from cheating, from robbing, from prostituting, all of those that he had saved, they didn't want to show up to court.
Wow.
So they were allowed, as it is in scripture, it was the same in the case of Mike Brown. They had real witnesses that saw the devil kill Mike Brown, but the false witnesses were given more strength because they showed up to the court and they were able to trump the real witness bearers. Who are we? No matter if you've been following the minister for 1 minute or 50 years, who gives us the right, or what gives us the right to be silent witnesses when Jesus has saved our lives and we are being called to the witness stand to tell the world what he has done for us? And that's why no matter if it's YouTube or the mosque or in the streets, brother, everywhere is a stand. And my job is to truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth about what Farrakhan has done for me and is still doing for me. And taking it further, Brother Kareem, you know, brother, there's been some believers, and I'm gonna try to say this without getting teary-eyed. It's so tough talking about that man.
Praise be to Allah.
But do you know, I'm talking about, I accepted the teaching and heard in 93 and registered in 97. It was believers soldiering 20, 40 years before me coming here. And some of them have never had dinner with the minister. Some of them have never shook his hand. Some of them have never even heard the full Savior's Day lecture because they were on post somewhere. There's MGT who's been striving to be morally right for many years before I was born. And some of them have never been up close to the minister. So you mean to tell me that little old raggedy, wretched Brother Abdul Qiyam get a chance to be in his company, to get a call from him, and I'm going to hold that testimony? Not me. So believe, Brother Kareem, when I came to your city and to your area, when I toured the country, some people had a problem with me testifying the way I do. They said, brother, you got to be careful what you say. I say, what? I'm talking about a dinner experience with the minister. Oh, I found out what the problem is. You a silent witness and you want to keep it to yourself so you can feel like you above people. But me, I want to be a believer so they can know that the man that they reading about, that the one that they love to death, the one that they give their charity for, that they sacrifice for, that they soldier for, I want them to know that that man is the same man in private that he is in public. So you best believe I'm going to get on the witness stand and tell it. So if I do it in the face of the enemy, you best believe in the face and the presence of the believers, I'm going to testify. And that's why I've always encouraged the believers, man, don't be a silent witness, man. Tell your story. If you're a brother, I'm going to close this. If you're a brother who was on post one time on the minister's door and he greeted you and said a word to you, why you haven't told nobody that, man? If you're a sister that had the opportunity to serve in the minister's suite and you got a chance to observe how he handles his guests, why you not telling nobody that? You got to stand up and tell it. Because why? The Holy Quran says that Allah says he was going to raise him to himself and clear him of all the false charges. Don't you want to be a part of what Allah is going to do? Clear the man of the false charges. And that's why he said we will overcome that dragon in the book of Revelation by the blood of the Lamb and the power of their testimony. So I gotta testify.
Yes, sir. Ooh, I'm getting full.
All praise is due to Allah.
This ain't just to eat me. Oh my goodness.
All praise is due to Allah.
Beautiful. Touching on the silent witnesses, what would you say makes some of us not want to testify? Besides what you've already stated, you know, some people just want to hide their gift in the bushel barrel, keep it to themselves. But what would make others not want to openly testify for a man that has saved their life?
You know, the minister said it beautifully during his Beethoven concerto. That divinity is masked in humanity. And some of us don't know the value of talking about the humanity or the human side of the minister, because the minister is such a great, and he is that. When people see him, he's just way up here. But when you testify of him in close proximity of how he made you feel, and he kissed your baby on the forehead, or like what he did with you and your wife when he called you out in the FY uniform and talked about your wife with the bracelet, talked about that love is a beautiful sight. See, those kind of testimonies like that, it humanizes him, so it brings people closer to accepting the divinity of him. So some of us, number one, I found, in the name of quote unquote security, we keep things to ourselves. You know, some of us are from that old school training. You know, Brother Kareem, I have to tell you, in them 90s and early 2000s, you wasn't even allowed to look at the minister if you was on post, brother. You turned your back. If you looked at him, you got in trouble. So now, though, the minister stops and greets brothers, turn us around. We come to his suite. He greets everybody that was on post. It's a different time period. So now that's giving more people testimony, but some people use in the name of security. That is only so much. Now, come on, brothers and sisters. We're intelligent students. Some of us know that there are certain things that we have to take to our grave. Come on now. But when you talking about that you got invited to the minister's suite, he greeted your wife, your children, your sister and brother, said a word to you, prayed over your baby, healed your child when they were sick and the doctor said they was gonna die. That's not security, man. That is for you to tell the world that the man has healing power, right? So that's number one. Number two, some of us have not studied how to bear witness. We need witness bearing training in this too. And I'm gonna give you all a secret, those that are watching, the Nation of Islam members. If you go back to your nation's program, there's an archive message from September 17, 2020, September 17, 2020. It was first just a laborers meeting. The minister opened it up to everybody. And I'm letting you all know, in the first 20 to 30 minutes, Brother Kareem, the minister gave the blueprint on how to bear witness. I'm gonna give you just a few of them. Number one, he said he didn't allow any cell phones inside the meeting because he didn't want any competition with him, and he wanted us to drink him in. So if you are weak in your witness bearing, have you been around the minister or have you been with the minister? Because if you've been with the minister, that means every millisecond that you've been around in his presence, you've been drinking in everything. People always wonder, they say, Brother Abdul Hakim, how do you remember all this stuff? What you mean, how? When I'm in the presence of the minister, there's nobody else in the room. I'm focused on him. I'm taking in everything, but I want to drink him in. I'm not looking down at my phone. Matter of fact, I didn't learn how to type notes on my phone without looking down at it, brother, because I want to keep my eye on him.
What?
Number two, this minister said this very important. He said that when he quotes the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he's very careful to quote just as the way he said. And he said in that instant, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would say he's been a great student. How many of us, when we're talking about our experiences with the minister, we quoting all over the place and adding to and taking from? No. So when you get a call from the minister, if you have a meeting with him, I encourage you, immediately go and write it down, because you probably gonna forget.
Take them notes.
Take them notes, right? And lastly, number three, there's more to it, but number three, he says that when he shares his experiences with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Brother Kareem, he said he paints a picture and gives context so that when he shares it, we can actually visually see him sitting there with his teacher. Ooh. So that means that when you're bearing witness to these experiences of the man, don't leave nothing out. I want to know what he had on. Who else was there? How did it make you feel? What city were you in? What day was it? What was the context of what was going on? And that paints a picture for us so we'll feel like we're right there. So the minister eliminates all excuses for witness bearing because why? He's the number one witness of the Savior and the Christ. So he is the criterion of how to be an effective witness bearer. And lastly, I got to say this.
Yes,
you got to excuse me now, viewers. Look, I ain't done too many interviews within this last year. I just been in my chamber. So when I come out, I get a little fired up. And plus, Brother Kareem, I have to tell you, I've been blessed to hear from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan every day this week, brother. Wow. Every day.
Wow.
So you catching me and you booked this
about
a month, 2 months ago, brother.
Yes, sir.
So you catching me where my mind and my heart is so full of him, brother. So I want y'all to bear with me. I am so full and fired up. When you look in the book of John, go read it as he told us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it talks about that he fed the multitudes, that was something very interesting when I went back and read it that I myself as a student, I'm guilty of overlooking. We always say that Jesus fed the multitudes. But when you go back and read it, Jesus broke the bread and gave it to the disciples, and then the disciples fed the people. Oh,
Jesus said, here you go.
Here you go.
Go feed them.
But before that, the disciples were complaining about the crowd being there and basically saying, we ain't got nothing to feed you all. Go away from here. And Jesus told the disciples, no, don't push them away. So the disciples was feeling in themselves that they didn't have anything to feed the people because they sitting on their testimony. So then Jesus, after they fed the people, Jesus said this, Brother Kareem, he says, pick up the fragments and put them in a basket. Fragments of what? Whoa. You got some more feeding you're going to have to do. So I don't want none of your experiences with me or the word that I've given you to go to waste. Put it in a basket because you got to keep feeding the people and feeding yourself. So Jesus was letting us know you got to pass the bread. You got to pass your testimony, man, and stop sitting on it because why? That one person that's following you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be, you just have no idea what your testimony is going to do for them and getting closer and closer with Jesus. Got to testify. All praise is due to Allah.
Wow. Who trying to stuff me full? It's trying to stuff me full of, woo, man. All
praise is due to Allah.
You know, it's supposed to be an hour. It's supposed to be an hour. We ain't even get to the first commercial break yet. We have 5 minutes. I would like to say to everyone watching, by the way, thank you to everyone that's tuning in. Right after the commercial break, I will be going into the YouTube audience, and feel free to leave questions for me to ask Brother Abdul Qiyam, and I will ask them right here. This is a new thing we're doing in Kareem Talks, and I wanted to start it with this episode because I know people have questions, and I don't want to be the only. I don't want to be the only guy asking questions. It's not fair. Audience gonna have something on their mind too. So, but wow, wow. I'm thinking of something else, but at the same time, what you just said is just it's blowing me away, and it needs to be more of us testifying out because this man has done so much. He's done so much.
He has, and that's one of the things I said that when the sisters did the Reflecting Farrakhan challenge, brother, I was literally in tears on that day when they shared their intimate experiences with the minister. And many of these sisters I've been knowing in the nation for years, never knew that they had that close encounter with him. One sister talked about, Brother Kareem, that her parents had wrote the minister about them graduating. They had a school in a particular city, and he wrote about all their accomplishments. And the minister wrote every student a personal letter and apologized for responding back too late because he was traveling. But he sent every student a $500 scholarship check, and she posted the picture of the check. I was like, I've been friends with her on Facebook for a while. I was like, oh man, but so many sisters had close encounters with the minister and never shared. So that did more than just posting in a garment and posting which are important. But when you start talking about how he laid hands on you and comfort your family in loss, and you had a disease and you was ailing and he prayed for your family and you healed, you gotta tell it. So I really thank my fellow MGT Vanguard sisters for doing that, man. It was so touching. And no matter how small some of us may think we are, the minister said that we are special to him. Wow. And if you're special to him, then that means that your testimony is special to him. You know, Brother Kareem, I wasn't seeking this, man. I was a soldier and been a soldier in the nation like everybody. Anybody at Muhammad Mosque number 45 here in Houston can tell you, brother. Since I came through the door, man, I wasn't trying to be no big shot stuff. I was just trying to soldier in the ranks. You know, many don't know I served as a student first officer at one time. Student ministry, youth student ministry, youth coordinator, soldier in the streets, brother. I wasn't looking to do this, but you just never know when God is going to call your jersey number, you know, to do a service like this. So I had no idea that I would be blessed to have dinner with the minister. Man, what? He calling me? You mean to tell me I'm not going to tell you all that? I got to tell this to you before we go to break. Right after the minister delivered that Eid message, I call it the Eid cookbar. He gave the cookbar for the whole Muslim world on Thursday morning. Let's not get it twisted. There was no need for any more cookbars, respectfully. But the minister, you heard how he sounded, brother. You could tell he had a heavy weight on him. Would you know that 30 minutes after he finished, he called me? Brother, he sounded like a totally different human being. Assalamu alaikum. Like, he was fired up. And I said, brother minister, you must have had a burden on your shoulder that you need to get lifted off of. He said, that's what happened, brother. That's been sitting on my heart and I got it off and now I feel so relieved. Why wouldn't I want to tell you that? I got to share that because it's not exclusively for me. That's for the believing body. That's for everybody. So I've never been that type that try to go on Facebook, minister just call me this, that, no, not like that. But when I get on these witness stands, I let the believers know how our Father's doing. And I'm gonna tell you all, we come back from the break, what the minister feels about his Beethoven concerto. He been talking about that every day this week.
I gotta say before we go to our break, I was one of the few believers who didn't read the flyer all the way. So when I saw the minister at the concerto, I was just like, he's looking a little too young. Wait a minute. And of course, someone inboxed me later and told me that performance was from 2022. And they said, pay attention to the audience. Ain't no one wearing a mask. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, good point.
But still, I was about to say, that's a whole nother level of reverse age. He already reverse aging now.
He still look good to me now.
Still look good.
Hey, pick a year. He aging backwards anyway. So he fooling everybody anyway. People asking for his driver's license. He told me people be like, brother, I need your birth certificate. Ain't no way you looking that good. Somebody actually asked him that.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. We're going to go to our commercial break. We will be right back. And like I said, when we come back after Brother Abdul Qiyam gets to bear witness again on the witness stand, we're going to open the floor up for questions from the YouTube audience. So peace and blessings. Stay tuned. Peace. We can go. We can turn our cameras off now. By the way. Uh-huh. Mhm.
Hi, my name is Hi, my name is Raiden Scott. My name is Yas. Hi, my name is Raiden Scott. My name is Yasma.
Well, audio is not working for whatever reason. There we go. Try that again.
Hi, my name is Raiden Scott. My name is Yasma. It's Tramari X Allen. Go to the Homeschooling Society. Go to the Homeschooling Society. I attend the Homeschooling Society.
Greetings. My name is Sabbath Muhammad, founder, owner, and CEO of the Homeschooler Society, LLC. Here at the Homeschooler Society, we pride ourselves in bringing full and complete understanding to all of our students. Our method is simple, not moving on until the child fully understands. I do what I do as an educator because I remember when I was in elementary school, middle school, and high school. I remember teachers and educators not showing as much care and patience as they could. This widespread way of teaching drives me to do what I do.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, if you are looking to enroll your children in the Homeschool Society, please check out the commercial and visit at Sabbath Muhammad on IG to find out more information and enroll your child today. She is looking to start summer school and she is now accepting middle students. Also, if you all are looking to have your commercial, whether it's a product or service, on Kareem Talks, no matter where you are in the United States or overseas, please inbox at Kareem Talks on IG. We have different packages for your commercials. Also, go to welcome to KareemTalks.com. Buy some merch from your guy. He's trying to do for self.
Come on now.
All right. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, you said you wanted to talk to us about how the minister felt about his Beethoven performance. And then after that, we're going to open the floor up for questions. So keep them coming in. I see you guys.
Yes, sir. 2 weeks ago, over 2 weeks ago, the minister called me on a Saturday morning. We spent about an hour where he was very excited, of course, about his grandson, Brother Leonard Farrakhan Muhammad Jr., putting this idea to him. And he was so excited because, of course, the minister thought, Brother Kareem, that this video performance was lost forever because of the fire alarm being pulled back then. And so nobody never saw the video. We just only had the CD because the minister was inspired or encouraged by Charles Beale to go in the studio and re-perform what was interrupted by the fire alarm. So the fact that Mr. Winston Johnson, I believe his name is, and those in Atlanta that worked so hard on this video, the fact that the minister got a chance to see it, he cried, when he saw it beforehand. And he was so excited because he saw the connection between himself and Beethoven. And all that he went through at that time, 19 years later, he was growing to see a greater and bigger connection between him and Beethoven. And so the minister was very inspired, very fired up. And I'm telling you, brother, he early that morning, Tuesday of his birthday anniversary, he called me late that night afterwards, brother. He called me early in the morning the next day, and he has just been wanting feedback of everybody who watched it. Even if you were in attendance 19 years ago, he want to know, how did it make you feel? What did it do for you? And that's why you heard on the ID prayer line, I was so just touched, because the minister has never read the feedback himself publicly like that ever. In all of the over 10 years I've been blessed to do this for him. And so there's a deep thing that everybody needs to go and study about Beethoven. I want to encourage you all to pick up Closing the Gap by our brother Jabril Muhammad. Go and read the pages where the minister talks about Beethoven back when he was doing it in 2002, and read what the minister says about Beethoven. Drink it in. Everything that the minister said at the end of the concerto. Go and study those pictures, the people that he had up, Beethoven, Yasha Heifetz, of course, you know. Of course, you always gonna study Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, you definitely need to do that. His mother, and I'm gonna let you all know that the minister encouraged me. He mentioned, remember he said that there was a book by his violin instructor, Ike August, that he read, and that's what made him writer, and they first met in Chicago. He mentioned the book to me, and I went immediately and got it on Amazon. This is it right here.
Y'all see it.
And I want to encourage all of you all as students, go get this book immediately and read it, because this is what inspired the minister to write Dr. Ike and meet her at her master's class in Chicago, which began that connection that she taught the minister to Beethoven. Had he not read this book that was given to him, that wouldn't have happened, right? So I'm reading it too. And I joke with the minister, you know, just lastly, jokingly, the minister called me the other day, bro, Kareem, and said, how's the reading going, brother? I said, I'm just about halfway through it. He said, oh, brother, I finished that book in one sitting. I said, oh, man. Shots fired, right? Shots fired. The father is so competitive. So he's nice with it, too, because he knows there's no competition against him, but he's so nice when he gently does it, right? So the next day, I'm trying to hear him read, right? And I was sitting at the table thinking, I said, you know what, bro, Kareem? I said, the reason the minister could finish this in one sitting is because he ain't got to stop every 2 paragraphs to look up words that he don't know. Man, I ain't no musician, right?
Facts.
So the next day, I called the minister called me. He said, how's the reading going? I said, I'm farther along than I was the other day when you asked me, brother minister. But I said, I had a thought. See, you can finish this in one sitting because you ain't got to look up all these words that I don't know, right? The minister bust out laughing on the phone.
Yes, sir.
He said, that's true. He said, but that means, but that means that by you looking up those words, you becoming a musician. He said, well, I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to let you get back to my girl, Dr. Ike, and all those words you don't know. Fred, I just wanted to give you a humorous side of our ministry.
That's always good. And it's always beautiful because, like you mentioned earlier, we get so wrapped up in the divinity of this man, which, you also said divinity is great. It's huge. But we forget that the minister is still, there's a human side to him. And hearing these stories, you know, him busting out laughing, stories my mom shared with me, so many different things. And even just experiencing the minister, you know, I've done posts for him a couple of times. Praise be to Allah. He's just such a beautiful human being, man. Such a beautiful human being. Like, pictures alone aren't enough. You need to see him. Okay. But onward to the questions in the audience. We have a question from Sister Anissa, the poet. It's a two-part. Joshua's Truth, the same one. Her first question is, how can we as youth help put a smile on the minister's face? And her second question is, what are your favorite memories? What is one of your favorite memories of the minister. So the first question is, how can we as youth help put a smile on the minister's face?
You know, Sister Anissa, I have to tell you, including when I was blessed to hear from you yesterday, it's a very rarity that when I talk to the minister, that he's not talking about how much he loves the young believers in the nation and proud of them. I'm always telling the news of what you all are doing. I don't tell you all the time, but she knows that I believe. I didn't send him things of Joshua's truth. I didn't send him stuff for you, Brother Kareem. Sister Enzo, when you all start shows and magazines and you're doing all these great things, I included in my feedback reports to the minister so he can just see what you all are doing. So what's putting a smile on his face is what you all are doing now, expressing yourself in the world of Islam. I want you all to know, the minister wants you all to go hard in expressing yourself in your Islamic world. That's why he said at the beginning of the Ramadan prayer line on the first day, he said that China is a country, but we are a world. So the minister is happy over you all expressing yourself and being free in your nation. That puts a smile on his face. Sister Nzinga don't know, but I told on her just recently, when she did that whole thread after the minister spoke during the DMX memorial, and all these people didn't think that the minister talked about Jesus, and Sister Nzinga
broke it down.
A whole Twitter thread of clips. I sent the whole screenshot of threads. I said, Brother Minister, and he remembered her speaking at the Farrakhan Twitter Army Awards. And he was so proud that she did that. Oh, I'm always telling the good news. So that's number one, Sister Nisa. Keep doing what you all are doing. Keep doing what you're doing, sister, and representing Islam, but expressing your creativity, and don't let nobody hold you back, man. Y'all making the minister happy. And you all know, Sister Anissa, and I know, Brother Kareem, you know it, the Farrakhan Twitter army is still the apple of the minister's eye. I'm going to tell you, I do not care what nobody else may tell you all where you are. The Twitter army will forever be the apple of the minister's eye, because he knows what Allah guided us by his direction to do for him through that Twitter army. It's major and it's still being felt. So that's number one. Now, real quickly, I got many, but one of the main ones that came to mind, Brother Kareem and Sister Anissa, my first ever Mac laptop, the minister bought it for me. And the circumstance by which I got it wasn't pretty. So I was within my first year, working on staff, getting them feedback, doing the Ask Farrakhan chats, and I had wore out this old HP or Dell laptop. Brother Kareem, I wore that thing. I don't do good with laptops, man. I outwork the laptops, right? But I needed one. I didn't have the money to buy a new one because I was balling on a budget. I didn't want to burden the minister, and I'm still really like that. I don't like burdening him with problems and issues. So I kept working. I messed around, Sister Anissa. My laptop crashed, and I was late getting a report to him. One thing you don't want to do is turn in anything late to the minister. If you tell him you're going to have it by such and such and so time, you better have it at that time. The minister called me, Sister Anissa, and I cringed. He said, brother, I'm looking for what you said you was going to send. My heart dropped. I said, Brother Minister, I apologize, sir. My laptop crashed. He said, how long has it been damaged, brother? I said, it's really been on its last leg for a while. He fussed at me. Why didn't you say nothing? Well, I really didn't. Oh, no, brother. You got to have the best of things to do the best job for me, brother. So he said, when you come to Chicago, because I was actually on my way to be with him in a few days, he said, I'll give you my credit card. You can go to the store and get any laptop you want. And I'm like, here's what? And he said, so when you come here, brother, you make sure you let me know. We're going to get you that laptop. Yes, sir, brother.
Wow.
So I ain't had no laptop, do no work. Man, so this is the end of the trip. I had borrowed somebody else's laptop to do my work. Brother Kareem, Sister Anissa. The minister got his assistant, one of the hardest working persons, not just sisters I've ever met in my life, Sister Amina. Lord have mercy. Where that sister was, she's so inspiring. Got her, he let her know, because I was so scared to tell anybody, because I've never want to be seen as a believer that's trying to take something from the minister. So I didn't even tell nobody that he's going to give me a laptop, because I don't want to be perceived as somebody that's trying to be up around him to take stuff or take advantage.
Be a moocher.
I didn't even say nothing.
See that.
I was sitting on the steps of the palace scared, because they looking at me like, why you sitting here? But I was so scared to tell them that the minister going to buy me a laptop, because I didn't want them to get the wrong idea about me. I was new to this, man. I didn't know the protocols. And so, long story short again, he sent me with one of the E-Team brothers, gave him full cash, sent me to the Mac store with this brother downtown Chicago and said, you don't let him leave until he get everything that he needs to help me. I had never bought no Macs. I had never been in an Apple store. This is 2012. I didn't know anything about Apple. And the brother, I asked one of the workers, and the brothers were E-Team. All he said was, you got everything you need? I was still trying to cut corners. He said, brother, get it, whatever program. So when we got back to the palace, for the first time, the minister invited me into his office. And we was one-on-one. And the minister said, did you get everything you needed? I said, yes, sir, brother minister. I believe I did. He said, what airport are you flying out of? I said, O'Hare. He said, well, you got to leave immediately. But he said, I just want to make sure. Do you have the best so you could do the best job for me? I said, yes, sir. According to the work at Apple, I got the latest model, all the software. I got everything I need. I'm just going to have to get some of those different software programs to design with. He told me to get with the student minister of information about that. And then I said, brother minister, I pledge to you that because of this gift, I'm going to triple my work for you, sir. He said, I already know that. He gave me a hug, Brother Kareem. And then like a father, he beat me in my chest with his fist. And he said, you better get strong, son, because they about to come after you for the way you helped me. And then he dismissed me. And I'm a witness. I didn't call hell trying to help this man, but I tell you what, man, I thank Allah for being so in love with him. I'm sorry. Bring it on. You can't make me fall out of love with helping this man. I don't care what you say and do. I go through my rough moments, but I know what this man has done for me. So I got my first Mac laptop from the minister, and I wore that one out. And I'll tell another time what ended up happening to it. But that's what the Messiah has done for me.
Oh, man.
That's one of my most favorite moments. All praises due to Allah.
Left a lump in my throat. You know, I don't cry often on my own show, but just these beautiful bearings of witness. We have time. We have 10 minutes left until the show closes. We have one more question from Sister Sharifa. I'm just gonna shorten it. No, I'm gonna ask the whole thing. In the Teachings podcast, by the way, subscribe to the Teachings 2.0 podcast by our brother Abdul Kian.
Wait a minute, is that my wife? That's my wife asking the question.
I believe so. Yes, sir. Okay. You got glasses? Yes, sir. In the Teachings podcast, you tell such wonderful stories, testimonies with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. What has the minister said, if he has, about your podcast?
First of all, the minister has not missed one episode of the Teachers 2.0 podcast. As soon as it comes out, all praises due to Allah. We sent it to him. He listened to it immediately and called me to give me his critique and review. First, I have to thank the minister for thinking enough of me, and with the help of my brother Jamal, aka Jay DeLay, that the minister heard the demo of the podcast and saw fit to bless and allow me to be the only person to use the trumpet. He said I'm the only and the first ever that he authorized to use that trumpet outside of how it's used on the cover of the Final Call. The minister has called me Brother Kareem and has cried over my testimonies. You know, in my podcast, in the middle portion, I always share the intimate stories and experiences. The minister humbly has said that he has never heard nobody who has had an intimate experience with him bear witness about him the way I do. He said last episode that came out, he said when I talk about him, he could tell I'm very in love. And that I talk like I'm wrapped in a wreath of love and I'm so secure.
As he should be, as you should.
In my relationship with him, that he just feels the love coming out of my tone. And he said to me that while his question and answers are very important, and you know, many don't know that when the minister gave me one critique about one episode, we went to work to implement it or correct it immediately. I never questioned him because that podcast belongs to him because that's his trumpet.
Yes, sir.
He's the trumpet. We just help us. So the minister critiqued once. He said, brother, at first I was reading the question and answers for the first 3 episodes. He said, brother, how about you read the question and Brother Jay DeLay, he read the answer so my answers can be amplified so it can drill down into the ears of the listener. Say no more. We did it the next episode, and since then, it was a test, but people loved it. And then the minister, he said, I appreciate you saying that my answers to the questions are so important. He said, you're right. But he said, my favorite part and the most important part of the podcast is your testimony. He said, that's the part I love to hear. So the minister has heard every episode from start to finish. And several of them, he went back to listen to them twice. And by the grace of Allah, he's really, really touched me and inspired me to keep on bearing witness. And I'm going to tell you all that he said he can hear that I've never taken for granted one moment I've been with him. Because I can remember what I have on when he called me, what he said to me. When he calls me, I'm always taking notes. When he called me and I'm driving, I pull over at the first exit immediately. Because when the Messiah calls, my world stops.
Wow.
So the podcast is his, and I thank him for having enough faith in us to strive to represent him like that, and Allah willing, we'll be getting back to it real soon.
Praise
be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. We have 6 minutes left. Any closing comments?
Dougie, press you on.
Yes, sir. 6 minutes. 6 minutes you're on. Do you have any closing comments that you'd like to make before we finish the show? Because man, what a show.
All praise is due to Allah. You know, first, I have to thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I thank the First Lady, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan. I thank their entire family, their children, and all of their sacrifices. I thank the Muhammad family. We would not be here on this line were it not for these 2 families that suffered and sacrificed so that we could even have a testimony to say. So I thank them. I thank the minister for allowing a wretch like me to continue to serve. One of my favorite songs in the church, Brother Kareem, is I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. I'm a nobody. I want to lift him up wherever I go so all men can be drawn up to him. So that's why I love helping that man. And last, I just want to thank you, dear brother, for you having the courage to step out to start this. I want to thank you for being wise enough to let Allah guides you to choose the right mate for you. Because the minister said that on the Defending Farrakhan, you know. No, Allah brings the mate to you. The one you've been desiring, right? Not the one you go out and pick. So I thank Allah that He brought you together with a mighty sister.
Facts. Big facts.
Who is so wonderful in spirit. And to marry your beautiful spirit. I remember when you was at the Hard Rock Cafe back in the day. Always had a joyous spirit when he brought us them strawberry lemonade. That brother was always been a beautiful brother. And now Allah is blessing you in your growth. So I want you to know, brother, I'm proud of you. I really, really am. I marvel at you all. And I'm going to tell you all, as long as you keep your eye and your ear and your heart on the minister, on the Savior, on the Christ, the Mahdi, you're going to win. I know for a fact. My success is I never think I know better than the messenger of Allah. I am a fool. And the messenger said, if Allah leaves me for one fraction of a second, you will see a babbling fool. If I think I know better than the minister for a fraction of a second, you're going to see a babbling Abdul Qiyam. In fact, you're going to see old Jesse come back.
Ooh, we don't need to see that.
We don't need to see that. So the point is I'm saying is that keep your eye on him.
Yes,
and
sir.
If you are a guest that's not a registered member of the Nation of Islam that's tuning in, I would encourage you and we would encourage you to continue to tune into this show and tune into this platform because it will help and aid you by God's permission to get a better understanding of why we feel the way we feel about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It ain't nothing spooky. It ain't nothing fake. It's real because that man has definitely saved our lives and he is saving our lives. So I pray Allah continues to bless your show, grow your show, and as soon as we log off, I'm going to buy me some Kareem Talks merch. And I hope everybody that's tuning in will join me in supporting our brother.
Praise be to Allah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a beautiful, I still got tears in my eyes. This has been a beautiful episode of Kareem Talks. Perfect way to end our Eid. I'm going to go back and join my family. But tune in next week because I will have Prince Allende and Kia Abdul, and we will be talking about the astral plane and the fourth dimension. So tune in. You do not want to miss it. This has been another episode of Kareem Talks. I'm your host, Kareem. That is Brother Abdul Qiyam. Peace. See ya. Wrong hand. Peace. See ya. All righty.